grief has been on my mind lately, just because of some stuff that's been going on in our personal lives. And I guess I was looking at it from a stereotypically male perspective, but I guess it's just people. A lot of people seem to power through it, almost like not allowing themselves to process the emotion. And I've noticed quite often at funerals, you see people who are crying, and then you see people who are obviously really sad, who are very obviously trying to hold back the tears. And I'm like, if you're not going to let yourself cry at a fucking funeral, then when are you? And yeah, so it's made me think about a few things. Like, why do we develop this thing of you shouldn't cry, you shouldn't not even express the emotions, but you shouldn't experience them. You should stop yourself from experiencing emotions. And then it made me think about what happens if we don't and we just hold it. And it made me think that I should probably bring that up, because I'm sure you have helped people through these things and helped people through grief. And I'm curious if you have sort of any general thoughts about what I just said.
I actually remember 2 funerals that we've been to. There was one funeral which was probably your grandmother or grandfather's funeral. And there was another funeral that was my grandmother's. We've been to 3 funerals together. 2 of your grandparents and 1 of mine.
Also cousin.
And your cousin. Yeah, 4 funerals we've been to together. I remember 2 funerals or 3 you didn't cry and 1 you did. And I think it's because you had done a bit of work on the crying thing.
Which one did I cry at?
My grandma's you teared at. Rachel's you teared at as well, I think. But you didn't sob. I think you cried. And I think it was because there was like a consciousness there before. There's like, I think you thought you shouldn't let out your tears, or that you should be stronger, something like that. And then I think you did some work on it and decided actually it's good to let them out. And if you feel it, I think you make more effort to try and let it. But I think it's a consciousness thing, right? When you go out into public, I think a lot of people have this thought of it's inconvenient to others if I cry because it makes them uncomfortable. I know you have that for sure, in terms of I don't want to inconvenience others. I don't want to make them have a difficult moment because of me. In some circumstances, you're very considerate like that, like in a restaurant or something like that. Last time you would be very happy to say whatever, whereas now you're kind of like, oh, it's okay, just don't say anything. So I think it's a consciousness thing.
Like how self-conscious I feel
towards others, like how considerate you are being. I think I cry in public because I don't really care if people see me crying. Like in that moment, whatever I'm crying about is more important than how I think other people will feel.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because it's obviously a good thing. It's a well-socialized thing to learn to be considerate. But then if you take it too far and it becomes so collectivist in your mindset that no, I cannot show my suffering outwardly because of the impact that it will have on other people. I don't know if collectivist is the right word, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Then it's going too far, right?
Yeah, like some things I think you ought to be considerate to others about, but then crying is one of those weird ones where it's like, actually, people probably won't mind if you do it, but you think they will. You think it'll make them feel worse. But actually, I think people feel better when you cry.
I don't think, in the case of crying, I don't think it was that I would make other people feel bad in some way. I think more so it's an embarrassment thing. I think for men and experiencing emotions in public and expressing them in public or even with their partner, or maybe that's the reason why we struggle to connect with our guy groups of friends in deep ways where we actually feel emotionally supported, is because of embarrassment or potential embarrassment.
You feel, I think a lot of men feel weak when they're seen crying. Like somehow if they cry, then it negates all the providing that they do and all the protecting that they're able to do is somehow negated in a moment of
like suddenly you're no longer strong as a human being. Yeah, that probably comes from, as a boy, you get told not to cry and just sort of like grow up and toughen up and just deal with it.
And to be fair, I do know many women clients who feel the same. It just depends in the culture you're brought up in, right?
Culture meaning at home with the family.
But I think a lot of women, we feel it's more normal to just have a cry with a friend. It's almost something that, like for Faye and I, we purposely meet each other to have a cry. We'll tell each other, I need to have a cry. And then we'll help each other have a cry if we can.
Yeah, I think maybe from the male perspective, there's also a fear that it is embarrassment, it's fear of judgment, and also you don't want people to look at you like you're performing. You don't want to be looked at like you're crying or you're sharing.
Being extra.
Right? That it's performative versus what it actually is. Because we all know examples of people who are really annoying because they perform whatever emotion that they're feeling and they take it too far. And that type of shit makes guys roll their eyes. They're like, I just fucking stop. And we like over-index on that. Like we don't want to appear as that.
And probably when you're in public, whether it's a funeral or you're walking on the street or you're in the bus or whatever, you might feel like crying. And then before it comes out, you're like, oh, but then this, and then you start thinking instead of feeling, right? Whereas if you're by yourself or with someone that you really trust and nobody else, then you probably don't overthink it. You just let it come freely. Right?
Yeah, Marcus Aurelius has this quote. I'm gonna butcher it, but basically talking about how when you grieve in private, it's very different from how you grieve in public. That when you cry, when you're on your own, it's quite soft and it's quite calm and it's quite quick. Whereas when you grieve amongst other people, you tend to perform. I don't think he used the word perform, but he had noticed a contrast. And I think maybe that's quite a male perspective as well, right? But yeah, I don't actually know how many men cry alone in the quiet of their rooms. But yeah, we definitely don't have the same tendency that women have to, I need a cry. So I'm reaching out to you because I need a cry.
Although you have said to me more recently that you've been trying to have a cry here and there, right?
It's not difficult for me anymore. Yeah, like a nice moment with one of the kids or one of the more intense breathwork practices that raises some sort of emotion within me. Yeah, it's quite within reach now, which I guess
not one of the situations with me. So something I've been thinking about recently is how, as a therapist, I spend all my day empathizing, right? And you probably remember that when you first met me, I was probably one of the most sociable people you ever knew.
Yeah.
I was always full of energy. I would make friends with like the most random person on the street. And strangely, over time, what I've realized is after a day of therapy with people, I really don't want to go hang out with more people and talk to more people. And I find like my energy to go deep with people and be curious about their lives is much narrower now. And so I think it's an interesting topic to think about, especially with people who are in the helping profession. Not even in the helping profession, but even if you're just a person who cares a lot and you listen a lot, or you take care of people around you a lot, you look after them. A question for you that I wanted to ask you is, do you often feel like you wish you had more energy to help? Do you often feel yourself being with a lack of energy to help others?
Yeah, definitely. I think I have a history of going too far with trying to help people. And so part of it is just like lessons learned and, not wanting to get too involved with other people's shit. And also, I need to save people, I think. I think there's a bit of ego in that too, right? There's a bit of like, who the fuck are you to save someone if they're suffering from something? And I also, at a deeper level, think that people can only be helped if they are ready to be helped and they want the help. And I think some of the help I was willing to give in the past, it got weird because I wanted to help them more than they wanted to be helped.
Themselves.
Yeah, and to help themselves also. There's a bunch of that mixed into it. But I'm curious about your situation with feeling like you don't have as much social energy for other people. Do you think this is a bad thing? Do you think this is the occupation wearing you down? Or is it simply a capacity issue and it's part of life, and also you've got 2 kids now and you have, you know, other stuff that you're putting your time into? Is it you realizing that if I go do that and drain the rest of my battery there with new people, then what time am I losing out on with my kids? What connection am I losing out on with them? Is that it? Or do you think it's something like not so good about the helping professions?
I definitely think it's a capacity issue. I think as you get into the age of getting married and having a family, people's circle gets smaller and smaller. And you also have grown wiser. So you know the sort of people that you don't want to waste your time on. The people who will drain you versus the people who energize you. So I definitely am more deliberate about who I spend my time with. I also think it's true what you said, that I know I don't have as much energy, that I want to save energy for the people who are most important to me. But I also think that being a therapist, it's like you have to go deep with people all the time. And that is very exhausting. I think the thing that can help is that when the session ends, you gotta pass the baton back to them, right? It's like during the session, you hold it together for those moments, or you even sometimes have to teach them how to hold it or build the muscle that lets them hold it. But then after that, you have to let go and be like, right, this is this person's responsibility now. And I have to trust that they do it. And if they don't, I have to be okay with them.
If they don't, you have to realize it's on them. And it's not your fault if they were not able to do the stuff that you hoped they would do.
And if they crumble and it causes a divorce or it causes a trip to the hospital or whatever, it could be quite extreme sometimes, but you have to trust that that is part of their life consequence that they need. And if someone is constantly bubble wrapping you and trying to save you from it, then you can't learn.
Yeah, you can't deprive people of those lessons. Like, you do what you can to help because they've sought out help from you. But if the cards are just that they're going to fuck up in that way, then yeah, you go.
And if you keep going beyond the relationship between client and therapist, you actually make it worse for them as well, because they then have a dependence on you. Like they don't know how to fix it themselves. Right?
So which is not the point. The whole point is come and sure get some advice, some framework, some tools, but it's about building your toolkit so when you're out there in the world doing your thing, you can handle your shit. Right? That is, in an ideal world, what we would try to do, right?